Okay, so once you've rolled your die, you then add it to your character sheet.
All right, so the book says I got to roll, but I don't understand why I need 20 sides on this dice. Can't I just use the Monopoly dice that I already own?
No, you can't. This game requires use of a D20. Dungeons & Dragons is a D20 system. But you can use the D6 for making other stats.
What do you mean I need more than one dice?
Yes, you need more than one die. You're going to need 8, actually. And hang on, is that camera rolling?
Oh, hi everybody. I'm Rich, and I'm worth a ton. And I'm a marketing executive hired by Hasbro to run Wizards of the Coast into the ground. I mean, make the company more profitable. You see, we at Wizards of the Coast believe that Dungeons & Dragons is woefully under-monetized, and it's my job to make sure that D&D stays profitable far into the future. And not profitable by printing horrendously overpriced books, game pieces akin to Warhammer, sets and boards you can use in your game, or even specialized die. We can't do that. I'll explain why later. You see, Wizards of the Coast has no idea how to make D&D profitable, because that's not how D&D works. You see, the market is saturated with tons of tabletop imitators, and we can't tell our investors that and still keep the company going. Hasbro needs that money, and we're the only profitable subsidiary. You think I don't see you sitting over there? You think I can't see? Now, I could go over a brief history of Dungeons & Dragons, or talk about Gary Gygax, or the Satanic Panic of the late 80s and 90s, but you know what that is. You know who he is, and you probably thought that last one was just a Stranger Things Season 4 subplot, but it actually happened. Really, that actually happened. People thought that Dungeons & Dragons was actually a cult. Trust me, the only cult we're running is capitalism. But let's skip all that and go into the interesting stuff. You see, our problems with D&D started around the time of 3rd edition, when Gary Gygax decided that homebrews, or fan-made content of our game that we bought from him, should be allowed to exist. You see, he didn't want to discourage anybody from creating their own content, or us suing anybody who did into the ground. Man, what if we could though? We would have made so much money. So what he did was create something called the Open Gaming License, or OGL. Remember those 3 letters, they are going to come back later. You see, the OGL allowed people to make new tabletop games using D&D systems irrevocably. And apparently, irrevocably is a word that we at Wizards of the Coast choose not to understand. But what is this? Are you seriously posting the definition of the word? I know what the word irrevocably means. I'm not stupid. I'm just choosing to not care in order to make money. Because capital. True story, we had to get the opinion of every single law office in Washington State, and apparently Washington, D.C. as well, in order to believe that we couldn't do anything about the open gaming license. Seriously, it was funny because we actually just typed in Washington lawyers, and apparently, you know, because we live in Washington State, right? And, you know, we also got Washington, D.C. because, you know, which is, you know, if you don't know, Washington State is like here, and then like Washington, D.C. is like all the way over. We still don't know what irrevocably means. But anyway, we tried to modify the gaming license anyway, despite all the advice from our lawyers and the judges and, you know, the actual law that stated that we couldn't and shouldn't try to do this. We tried to do it anyway, and it did nothing but enhance the sales of every single other tabletop game but us. Really? It backfired that bad? Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition and edition 3.5 was where we realized that selling new books was where we made the majority of our money. That's what I love to hear. So we made more of them, and we didn't playtest them. So 3.5 had absurdly overpowered classes. Yeah, that was a good idea, right? It's fine. I mean, you want to be a half dragon by level 1, right? You want to be a demigod by level 5? 3.5. You know, it's at this point you might be asking yourself, why did we make our books this way? I mean, couldn't we have focused on something else like, you know, making our own dice or miniatures even? Well, so look, other companies like Reaper and Ironclad already had the miniatures market locked down, so there was no way, even with our official pre-painted miniatures, that we were gonna break into that. Also, companies like Chessex had the dice game on a hard lockdown like Hannibal Lecter style since the 90s, so we weren't getting there either. And they kept it that way forever. So there was no way we're getting in there either. See, even our parent company, Hasbro, outsources their dice for Milton Bradley games like Monopoly and like to Chessex. I told you we should have stuck with the D6s. So in a stupendously brilliant and not at all boneheaded idiotic decision, we marketing executives decided to create 4th edition to appeal directly to MMO players. This did not go well. I mean, you can't turn a computer game into a tabletop game, am I right? I mean, it's just too many rules. What is this, Magic the Gathering? You thought I didn't notice you there. Get out. Bottom line, everybody hated 4th edition. I mean, seriously, people hated 4th edition so much that this complete other company, Piazzo, decided to take edition 3.5, which people were endlessly complaining about. I mean, which is why we had to even create 4th edition in the first place. And they decided to take that 3.5 and make a completely different game called Pathfinder by refining 3.5 into a better version of itself. And everybody just flocked to that. Seriously. Do you understand how annoying that is to just have the thing that everybody was complaining about completely revamped by a completely other company and everybody just flocks back to that thing? It's like, you were just complaining about that. So what did we decide to do? Oh, you know what we decided to do. We took those sons of bitches to court. You know why? Because there's nothing in this world that could possibly have protected them. They stole 3.5. They just took it and copied it and made their own version of it, right? You can't do that. There's nothing in that anybody could have possibly created that could protect you from our litigational wrath, except for Gygax. Gary Gygax's open gaming license screwed us. We lost that case so badly, we practically paid for Pathfinder. And then a whole bunch of other D20 games started popping up as well. In perpetuity, I still don't understand what that means. Stop trying to educate me. I just don't understand, Gary, why you would do this like this, man. I mean, we had this perfectly profitable thing, and then you just take it and you make it open for just like anybody to use. And like, I just gotta sit here and let them use it, and I can't make the money. I love money. Don't you love money, Gary? Why would you do this to Why would you do this to me, man? I thought we were cool, bro. So the bottom line is, regardless of how we do things, as long as the Dungeons & Dragons name, brand, IP, trademark, or any of Gary Gygax's family still live and breathe, we can't change it, ever, in perpetuity. So we made 5th edition. It was made to be much simpler. We learned our mistakes from 4th edition. This time, we're actually gonna make something people like. It didn't stop Pathfinder from becoming a huge competitor. Hell, even other games like Battletech, Shadowrun, World of Darkness, Warhammer, all of them had huge market share. And just don't tell anybody about White Wolf or Vampire the Masquerade, because someone might actually try to download that game again. Wait, what are you doing? But 5th edition caused something weird to happen. You see, people liked it, yeah, but older fans kept moving away from it and back to Pathfinder. It turns out making 5th edition easier and simpler to understand also meant that it lacked an inherent depth. We couldn't keep a hold of our long-term customers. I mean, sure, we've got all these new people coming in, but it's like, you know, releasing Skyrim for the 30th time. Seriously. And Todd Howard, just for the record, I am not holding my breath on the release of Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon. Did anybody see how bad Starfield flopped? I mean, that game flopped harder than Indiana Jones's box office numbers. Jesus. There was a positive to come from this though. D&D, after all this time, was finally a household name. I mean, everybody was playing. People were jumping in by the droves. And there were shows. Oh my God, the shows. There was what, Dimension 20, it was an XP to level 3, a Critical Role, Stranger Things. I mean, once you've hit Netflix, you know you hit the big time. Even some of these people were even creating their own books, publishing their own books, and making their own animated series. I mean, it was great. But we didn't see a single cent of that money. I mean, sure, we were popular, yeah, that's always great, but you know, it's basically just free advertising. Not even a single cent from the actually first good D&D movie. Chris Pine, you will always be my Captain Kirk. But that was the old campaign. We're done not making money off of D&D anymore. Now is the new campaign. Now is the era of OGL 1.1. Yeah! This new OGL allows us to control every bit of content ever made under the D&D brand in perpetuity. I told you I knew what it meant. The new OGL lets us own everything, and I mean everything. YouTube channels, that's ours. Live streams, those are ours too. Published books, oh, you better believe those are ours. Even the Wikipedia articles. I'm serious, we actually rewrote the OGL so it meant we could own all the Wikipedia articles. That was a real thing that actually happened. Yeah, we don't just want free publicity anymore. Now, we want you to pay us for the right to give us free publicity and free positive press. You nerds in perpetuity. Yeah. I know what it means when it benefits me. It's just when it doesn't benefit me, I don't know what it means. That's how rich people work. And everyone, including our own lawyers, told us we can't do this, that it was a bad idea. But you know what? We did it anyway. And now, if you make something that we don't like, we can make you change it. And we don't even have to give you any money or even credit for anything that you make that we decide to take and make our own and repurpose it, and reuse it, redistribute it, however we see fit, for money. Because it's ours now. We own it. You don't. Not anymore. The day has finally come. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The day has finally come when you give massive corporations everything you have, and in return, we give you... Finally, capitalism has entered its final form. All right, the OGL. We would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for somebody breaking the goddamn NDA. You see, we sent this OGL 1.1 as a draft to D&D content creators. At least we said it was a draft, and we sent it with a non-disclosure agreement. But a bunch of those content creators decided to screw us and send out the information to the public anyway. And that's when we decided that we were gonna say that it was a draft. You know, it's not like it's an actual thing released by somebody who we won't name or be able to identify. No, it's not that. It's a pretend draft, right? You know, we weren't actually ever gonna implement it, you know? This is just us, you know, playing around, we're not lying to you. We haven't been lying to you the entire time since D&D 1 was announced. No, come on, stop playing around. We're playing pretend, we're role playing. Yeah, we're role playing as the evil corporation that wants to bring about the glorious, beautiful end state of capitalism that I've been trying to do for all my life. I mean, that my character has been trying to do for all his life. Yeah, that's what it is. That's all it is. That was when about 83% of the content creators we supported just stopped making D&D content altogether and abandoned us. It's also about the time that about 40% of all the homebrew content on D&D Beyond up and, got deleted by its creators because they really didn't want us to steal it from them. All because we just mentioned that we were thinking about buying D&D Beyond. We totally did. We bought D&D Beyond. That's exactly what we did. We did that and we planned to steal that content, but dang it, you beat us to it. Seriously though, I mean, we're not being greedy. Like, all we want is just this little tiny thing called all the money and to own everything around D&D and its IP forever and ever. It's not greedy. How would that be? Why do you think that would be greedy? How could you possibly think that would be greedy? It's like, I just want all the money. What does anybody else need any money for? Nobody needs any money for anything except for me. I just want all the money to look at it. I mean, what would other people do with it, with any money? What would they do with the money? What do you mean live? What do you mean eat? Eat what? Eat food? They don't need money for that. I mean, have a roof over their head and clothes on their back. What are you even talking to me about? They don't need those things. The only people that need those things is me. I'm the only one who needs any of that. And I also need giant rocket ships shaped like my face to blast off into space. Why would they need money? They don't need their money. It's my money. It should all be mine. It's not too much to ask. I don't understand why you think that this is some sort of weird thing that I'm asking for. What do you mean Piazzo nearly doubled their share off of the fan response to the OGL 1.1? What? That's my money. That's money for me. That's my money. We literally just talk. Why are they having my, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take them to court. I'm gonna sue them. Wait. I tried that already. It specifically did not work. Because of Gary. Right. Dang it, Gary. So hold on a second. So you're telling me that Critical Role has decided that they're just going to go and split off and do their own thing? They got their own game. They got their own game now. Okay. Wow. Okay. So they're just going to play that game and not D&D anymore. And they're just going to keep making their show and play the new game instead of D&D because that doesn't hurt them at all, and it only hurts us. Huh, okay, well, I suppose we can just throw a sponsorship at people over at Dropout and Dementia 20, right? And Brendan Lee Mulligan's hurting for some of that D&D money, right? I'll bet you he is. Let's get in there. They refused the sponsorship. Oh, so they're never gonna play D&D ever again, and just gonna play their own D20 variant system. Those are the two biggest shows. What are we gonna do? I mean, LeVar Burton's daughter was on both of those shows. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. New plan. All right, so we're gonna wait until the heat dies down, right? Yeah, we're gonna wait until everybody's cooled down, and then we're gonna implement the OGL anyway. That's right, mark my words, we're getting this OGL 1.1 through, baby. You just wait and see. Keep an eye out. Seriously, they will probably do this. It's a technique that many businesses throughout the American economy use. It's called outdating the outrage, or OTO. It's even a technique that a lot of politicians use. They'll usually just wait a certain amount of time and then they'll just launch something flashy to get your attention. Meanwhile, over here, they're doing the thing that they were originally going to do that pissed you off in the first place. And then they'll do it while they're doing this thing it's like a bait and switch. It's like, well, look over here. Meanwhile, over here, they're doing the thing. Outdating the outrage, or OTO. Remember it. It's a really well-known business term. I'm not kidding. This is not even Rich right now. This is Sean telling you this. I know this. I've seen this. But back to the show. And if you complain about it, then you will be the ones who destroy D&D by not allowing D&D to be profitable. It'll be on you. Yeah, your fault. All of you nerds. Let's let us be profitable, guys. Come on. I mean, we don't want to be gutted and sold off like Hasbro does with literally every other company they own. I mean, they're worse than EA. Help us, please. Dungeons and Dragons, the most unprofitable, popular game in all existence. Hang on. I feel like I'm missing something. I mean, am I missing something? This was just the D&D episode, right?
No, actually, you forgot one thing.
Say what?
Well, the fact that Wizards of the Coast is the most profitable subsidiary of Hasbro.
Oh, perfect. Because of D&D, right?
Nope.
But how?
We'll talk about it next time. Hey everyone, just so you know, we usually write and record these about a month in advance. So we finished writing this around the beginning of December and finished filming it about halfway through the month. But that's fine, right? I mean, it's not like anything crazy is going to happen 10 days before Christmas. What does that pink slip mean?
Like, in all seriousness though, this should have been Dungeons and Dragons' greatest year ever. I mean, 2023 was poised to be the D&D year. I mean, seriously, they had the Fast Channel launch, right? They had the movie, the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was actually good. It wasn't bad. It was actually, this is a good Dungeons and Dragons movie. I meant it when I was talking about earlier. That was the first actually good Dungeons and Dragons movie. And then they had, what was the third thing? Oh, I don't know. The game of the freaking year. Literally the game of the year. It literally won game of the year like just a couple of weeks ago. Like game of the year. And Baldur's Gate 3, right? And they just, it's just not D&D's year because of all of this OGL nonsense. Like seriously, if they had just waited on this OGL nonsense, I don't think they would have gotten away with it, but they would have at least gotten away with having like a glorious year, you know? They could have been like riding like super high. Like with D&D 1, with the, like I said, D&D 1 announcement, the Fast Channel announcement, or the Fast Channel actually being launched, the movie coming out, you know, and Baldur's Gate 3 winning game of the year. I think if all of those things had to happen like without the OGL, good God, man. I can't even imagine the heights that D&D would have reached if it weren't for the OGL nonsense this year. Like, jeez. I mean, talk about, it's not even shooting yourself in the foot at this point. It's like shooting yourself in the head. Like right before you have the greatest year of your life. Right before you were about to have the greatest year of your life, you just shoot yourself in the head because what? I mean, like, everyone told them this was a bad idea. Everyone, it's like, it's right there in black and white, in perpetuity. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just a bad situation all around. Jeez. Yeah, you almost feel bad for them, but Yeah, it's like Congress trying to push a bill through at like 3 a.m. on a Saturday because they know they can't get it done any other time, and they just gotta get it through for the cruelty of it. I mean, you know, the money. Yeah, it's definitely about the money. It's not about, you know, stopping Hasbro from gutting them and selling them for parts. No. I swear.